Oh, you can get on the air. And welcome everybody to another Thursday afternoon Lunchbox here in Fitchburg. Snowy Fitchburg today at
old school.
At 105.3 FM and AM 1280. The Thursday afternoon high school Lunchbox today. Hey, great morning this morning. Before I get into our tour and everything, I gotta wish my daughter Regan's birthday, 21st.
That's a special day.
It is.
My daughter's was last June, and we had a nice get. It's a special day. It's sort of like a high school graduation.
Yeah. Oh, this could be tonight.
Day. Well, she has friends staying over, right?
Yeah, this could be tonight.
Big crew at your house staying over.
Thursday night. Where am I on Thursdays?
You're at the tavern.
My night at the tavern. She turns 21.
They're at your house.
This could be.
And maybe
I could end up throwing her out.
No, never. Nice kids. Nice kids.
Yeah, they are.
Cheryl will be there. It'll be a nice time.
It'll be a lot of her teachers are coming down. A lot of her friends.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah.
So it's sort of a all-inclusive party. Some Clinton teachers.
As far as I know, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they can't go to basketball games, but they're happy to go to a party at your house.
Oh.
Interesting. Interesting how times have changed.
Easy, but I want.
They can't go to an indoor track meet either.
She's listening too out at Assumption.
Oh, yeah. Regan, happy birthday.
Yeah,
from all of us here at PKC.
Be careful driving home and love you.
Yeah.
All right?
Be careful out there.
Yeah, it's a little bit slippery. But we had a great morning. We went to the 5th Street Bridge Diner this morning. What a great time we had.
Right. It's in a block.
Oh, it's
that
tremendous.
Used to be, it's just over the 5th Street Bridge on Harvard Street. And it used to be Romano's Market, Mary's Variety Store, and then there was a third little storefront. So the 5th Street Bridge Diner is where Mary's Variety was located. And Tina, now I hadn't been in that store in God knows how long.
How long?
Long time, 30, 40 years, I don't even know. But Tina has been running that 5th Street Bridge Diner for 15 years by herself, 5 a.m. to 7 p.m., Great coffee, great breakfast, inflation fighter. You talk about inflation, and consumer price index.
We had
great prices there too.
We had the local.
Had your man
Dave
Goodrich, a local guy from Lawrence Street, was in there.
Yeah.
So basically, Paul Keating. We would preparing for a tour of St. Bernard's High School. That's why we went there.
Yeah.
Paul Keating drove in from Belchertown. Kevin from Heaven. Kevin Connor joined us, and we walked over to St. Bernard's. Ray Consenza, the AD.
Me, I wanted to drive.
No, you had to get the feel of it. Walk Harvard Street. You had to get the feel of the neighborhood.
It was great.
And we had a tremendous tour, so kudos to Ray. Kudos to the principal.
Linda Anderson.
Patch Kennedy.
Coach Connie.
Patch Kennedy, potential Auburnardian candidate.
Let me tell you.
He's a candidate. He may be an Auburnardian, and he may not be, but he's a high-level candidate.
He's a
sort of like a Heisman candidate.
He's a great kid.
And he's all about wearing a tie.
I don't blame him.
He wants a tie to be part of the dress code.
He should be in charge there someday.
He could be.
He could be.
He could be a guy to come back there and contribute. Now you're overlooking Coach Carney. Did we mention Coach Carney?
I mentioned him. I never overlook my man.
Okay. Well, we had a chance to chat with
Coach Carney.
His freshman theology type class. Yeah. I didn't really get the name.
It was packed.
Something to do with religion.
Yeah.
And that's right up his alley.
And the room was packed. I'll tell you, it was, I love history. I just love it. And to walk into that, downstairs into the old St. Bernard's gym, and to see, just the names, John Skeeble, John.
Some of the first inductees into the Hall of Fame.
I knew them on the left. Then there was Barry Finneran, Bernie LeClaire, Jerry Flynn,
Richie Lewis,
Danny
Small.
I remember watching Danny and Jimmy Small play at Assumption back in the day.
Right.
And Milt Morin, NFL Cleveland Browns.
Eddie Ledger, former coach Eddie Ledger.
Yeah. So there was just great history.
He graduated there in 1935.
39.
Was it 39?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'll tell you,
but the school itself is about 100 years old. The main part of the school, it's in tremendous shape.
Oh
I mean, they don't build
No.
You know, when you go through these old buildings, I mean, the architecture, the workmanship is unbelievable.
Hey, I wish I could remember the girl's name who opened up some of the rooms for us to bring us into the old locker
There was a
rooms.
woman with the last name Cassavoy who was very helpful.
Yeah, the old locker rooms.
Yes, there was. Ray introduced
Ray's
us.
old office, the
Yeah.
bookstore.
And that used to be the locker room. And there was only one locker room because there were no girls' athletics back in that time.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine that.
Imagine that, yeah. But it was great. And again, we got Patch doing some homework. When? I want to
Yeah.
put this out to the listeners. The
Yeah,
last
People
game.
want to call in. Call in.
The
When
last
was
game
Go ahead.
played in that old
Right.
gym downstairs in
Right.
St. Bernard's.
Right.
I mean, they have a rough idea. They know when the activity center opened, but there was, I think Paul Keating and Kevin said there was a transition period, and Ray said it too, between the old gym
Yeah.
and building the activity center.
Well, the crowds were so big,
And
they moved
they-
a lot of games to Leominster High and so forth.
or Fitchburg,
Fitchburg
they
High,
mentioned,
too.
and somebody mentioned maybe even over at Fitchburg State. But we got Patch doing some homework there, which would be nice. Be a nice. Imagine
Yeah,
being
you're
on,
a history buff.
but imagine you just say you're on the team that played the last game in that gym.
Yeah.
And
At
you
the
didn't know
time,
it. You might not know it.
they may have felt like, God, let's get out of this place, but it was historic.
Exactly.
You
I'll
know?
tell you right now, I can tell you in the old Clinton High gym, because I was coach, when we went from Church Street up to West Boylston Street in Clinton, Jong, Jong, Tarashuk, scored the last basket in boys basketball.
Did you take the net down the next day and give
And
it to
Lindsay-
him? I bet
and-
you did. I bet
and-
you did something like
No,
that.
and then Lindsay Farragher was the last girl to
score.
score in that gym.
Hey, it
you
means, I remember the Wallace Civic Center used to host some basketball, and Fitchburg High played there. And I think one of the Caton brothers scored the first basket at the Civic Center. It was maybe Jimmy Caton, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That's going back.
Yeah.
That's going back.
You
But
know,
you love history. You
it
love
was
that
fun.
Bernardian room where
Oh.
there were photos of every all Bernardian going back to the initial
And I
days of it.
love the tree they made from the first day it opened, and
Historic
then
moments.
big historic moments.
Yeah, you could have spent hours
Well,
there.
that's why
You're
I-
a history guy. You really are.
Yeah, I mean, an hour was not long enough, Mark. It really wasn't. We did go into some classrooms. 3 alum, you, Paul Keating, and Kevin from
Yeah,
Heaven.
it was nice to chat up the kids. The kids were
And
great.
how about Ray? What a great host.
Oh, Ray?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
Ray's the best. He's All-American. He's AAA rated, no question.
AAA.
Hey, how about your man Murph, who called in last week? Reverse curse. He goes out, gets a win in his next game.
It happens.
Well, it happens with a
Kevin
lot of
from Heaven.
regularity. The other thing is your man Decker.
Oh, he better be listening today.
He's
After
the
all,
primary guy in the whack pack. I
all
did
the-
bring
all the air he got
Can we
last
see
night.
this?
We
I
gave
did
him a
bring-
lot of publicity.
the shirt for the Decker man, a large. So here you go, Hawk.
I'll
Put it in your bag for the Decker.
yeah, he'll be
Whack
over my
pack
house tonight
leader.
breaking in to get it. Knowing
And I'm going to
Decker.
throw another whack pack name out at you, and I need an immediate answer.
Oh,
Super Duke.
super.
Whack pack member or not?
Yeah, Super Duke could be.
What do you mean could be? I mean in or out?
Yeah, he's on the edge.
Wow, you're
No,
so
Super Duke.
non-committal about the whack
Super
pack, but
Duke.
that's
I was
okay.
with Super Duke last night.
You were with him last time?
Yeah,
Wow, okay,
yep. I was with Super Duke last night.
okay.
But hey, today, Craig Larson, we're going to have Paul Baker. I'll tell a quick story. Paul Baker, but he is going to call next week. Bakes owns the single game scoring record at the Clark tournament, Bobby. And then he went on and played at Assumption.
Yeah, he's your guy.
Then he was the head coach at Worcester State. And then he became the head boys coach at Northbridge. And then he left. And 2 weeks ago, I went out and scouted St. Paul, because Neshoba, we play them. And they were playing St. Bernard's. And I get there to watch some of the JV game, and Bakes was refereeing. So I talked to him, and he went full circle from a player to a coach and now an official. So I thought it'd be great to have him.
It's
call-
awesome that he's
call in.
officiating. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, I got a text from a friend of ours, especially somebody that you've known all your life. But anyway, he said to me, I went to a game last night. I got the text yesterday. And he said the officials did a really good job, missed a couple of calls, and there were a couple of local parents that thought it was appropriate to scream loudly at the two officials. It was annoying, and many nearby seemed to be embarrassed. So after a few outbursts, I went over and said, hey, behave yourself. Children are watching you. And then a little bit later, and some people were like, hey, that's right. These guys, they need to keep calm. The guy kept it up. Okay, the person screaming at the officials kept it up. So a little bit later, this friend of yours and ours went over and said, hey, what do you do for work? And the guy said, I work at a tech company. And our friend said, what time do you go in? And the guy's like, well, what do you want to know that for? He said, because I was thinking of stopping by where you work tomorrow and screaming at you. I mean, people have to remember that officials, that's their workplace and workspace. So let them do their work. And it's certainly not going to be perfect.
No. You know, and I hope Timmy O'Brien's listening, because I had an incident in my game the other night. All the years I coached, I never had this happen. So we get fouled in overtime. We get fouled. We're up 4. And referee comes over to the table and he goes, and the table goes 1-1. And so it was a 1-1 shot, 1-1. So everybody lines up into the lane, and my player, Dom, shoots and misses, and my kid, Curtis, grabs the rebound and lays it in. And everyone else had frozen.
Oh, yeah, Curtis, yep.
So the referee who did the 1-1 came running in, said something to the other official. And the other official apologized. He said, I'm sorry, I thought it was 2 shots, not 1-1. So they conversed, and they said, we're going to go to the arrow, and we were getting the ball underneath, which is fine. But I called the officials over, and I said, so you mean to tell me, and they could be right. I don't know. If it was St. North Middlesex's ball, it would have been, by their standards, would have been their ball instead of us, and it was on them.
Right.
But I really don't know. And me and the other coach did not get upset at all, because both referees said, boy, we don't, we really did, they didn't come out and say, they go, we don't know really what to do. I just said, whatever, do it.
Yeah, it's a learning experience,
Yeah,
and
it's
you
a
know
level-
that they will check in with the next
Yeah,
set of
and they
officials,
were
the
good.
varsity officials, or they'll check the rule book or bring
Yeah.
it up at their next meeting.
Absolutely.
I mean, you got to be, one thing, I'll just say one more thing. I know Craig's calling in, but high school officials, you have 2 officials, the game is fast, they do the best they can. When you watch college games and NBA games, there are 3 officials, and they go to replay all the time.
Yeah.
They don't know immediately if it's a hard foul, flagrant 1, flagrant 2. They go to replay all the time. High school officials don't have that
No,
courtesy.
they don't have that luxury.
So give the high school officials a break.
Exactly.
People need to just behave, enjoy watching your
Tell you,
kid
the
play.
officiating has been great this year.
That's good to hear.
Absolutely great.
That's good to
this
hear.
year. Yeah. Hey, let's turn to our guest caller in today. It's Craig Larson from the Boston Globe. Craig, thanks for taking some time to call in today.
Thanks, Tony.
Hey, Craig.
Bobby.
Hey, you got a root canal or 2?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, this will be like a prep for you,
Yeah,
okay?
this is equivalent. This is the same equivalent.
Yeah, this might be worse than a root canal. Okay? But, hey, the power ratings come out tomorrow.
Yeah.
The first power rankings come out. And I think,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Professor Clark is in his laboratory today.
Okay.
And no, I know he's, I haven't talked to him in a couple of days, but I know that he's prepping that stuff, and we'll see, how many scores have been reported. That's the key thing.
Right.
To get those accurate is to get scores. But I'm glad that, starting with tomorrow, and then it'll be every Tuesday and Friday through the rest of the regular season. So that's I thought
Nice.
it worked well in the fall.
Yes, it did.
Yep.
And then, frankly, the best thing, too, for all parties was below the power ratings on the MIA site, they had the listing of all the scores. So you could look at every team, alphabetically and look at their scores for the season and see what was missing. That didn't exist,
Right.
the first time around.
Oh, so
And,
they didn't
but
have that luxury in the fall?
Well, they did in the fall. But
Oh.
it started when Jim Clark was hired.
Oh,
That
I
didn't
see.
exist last year in year one of the statewide tournament. So there was a lot of mystery. Now you see all the scores, and an AD or a coach can look and say, "Oh, they're missing this score." So
Right.
I think there's a lot better accountability in the fall season and less issues with it. So
Hey, so Craig, have you at the Globe been doing your own power rankings to date?
we have not, only because the professor left the building.
Okay.
Jim Clark, he would feed, he had a spreadsheet, and we just made the decision that we're going to stay as up to date as we could with standings, with getting every score. He'll be relentless about that. But he's the one who developed the format, and him at the MIA, I'm deferring to him because I want it to be accurate.
Yeah.
Right.
But-
Well, there's no point in duplicating
Right.
the whole process.
No,
you know?
no.
And competing
Because I'm
with
not gonna
each other.
confuse
Right.
People. Yeah, and if we're off, he would spot things when we were doing it, and he would know where the error would be. I
Yeah.
can't do that.
Yeah.
And so, and since he's coming out with it twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, I can't match that.
Right.
And
So-
so I deferred to
Right.
him.
So if you have the league scores, if you have the league standings, and you have all the scores, that's a tremendous thing for your clients and your readers as it is.
Right. But there are some issues with the power ratings on our end. That
Right.
If a game's an exclusive game or exclusion game,
Right.
or it's a endowment game,
Yeah.
or so I just want to make sure the point, the stretch of schedule and everything is accurate and correct.
I'll
So,
tell you one thing, not so much last year, but definitely this year, a lot of us have noticed is schools really going outside of their comfort zone, going
Yeah.
outside of the region, and playing schools from Eastern Mass and Western Mass.
Upgrading the schedule,
very
too.
noticeable. Yeah, playing
Instead of
up.
trying to schedule wins, they're scheduling good opponents.
Yeah, exactly.
No, for instance, this Sunday at Emmanuel College, there's a tournament where Worcester North is playing Lawrence on Sunday night at 7:30, and you could argue those are two of the top three teams in the state, or two of the top four.
Yeah.
If you have Lynn English and Newton North in the mix, and CM, they're playing Sunday night. That's as good as it gets for
Yeah,
a regular
that's
season
great.
boys basketball game.
That's
Yeah,
great.
exactly. I know. And North beat Newton North.
Yes, they did. That was
Like a week and a half
kind of a
ago.
low-scoring game.
Yeah.
It was like 47-44. It was
Yeah.
kind of a slog.
It must have been a
So,
great defensive game, though.
Yeah. Pretty physical.
But I'll tell you,
So,
Worcester North, I mean, they've really, really, really sort of taken over the top tier in Central Mass in boys basketball.
Now,
They-
who's
they-
the coach? Do you know?
Is it Al Patway? Still the coach? I know
yeah.
Pat,
Oh, that's
is, yeah.
possible.
and Pat Weatherby.
Okay.
Pat
yeah,
Weatherby
from
Clinton.
is on the staff.
Yeah,
right?
played at Salem
Yeah.
State,
Of course,
played for
from
JT.
Clinton. Of
Yeah,
course
that's
he's
right,
from
from Clinton, okay? Hey,
Of course, Craig is from Clinton.
well, he told a
Yeah.
story. When he was getting married to Lisa, he got on a waiting list. It took him 6 years to get a house in Clinton. You had to go through a whole battery of testing and
Background check.
background
Yep.
checks and
Yep.
everything. And we let him in.
Financial records,
Well,
everything.
We let him in. Financial records. No, we didn't care about that. We let him in.
When my girls were in, third and fourth grade, getting involved in youth basketball, Pat Weatherby has got me involved in the youth basketball program, the Shova, and got me coaching. So, because he and his wife were running that program, and,
Yeah.
and he said you should really coach, and he worked with our team the first year, and then I coached for like 3 or 4 years in that.
Yeah,
Thanks
talk
to
about
Pat, so.
talk about a great catch for Al Petway. Pat Weatherby just
Right.
loves. I mean, when I was a coach at Clinton, the end of my years, we were in the process of getting a new PA system, and there was no money, and we had the old speakers up there. He used to come up and set his own speakers up and play music for all the girls
That's
and boys
tremendous.
games.
That's
JV and
tremendous.
varsity, yeah. Hey, listen, we're going to go to a quick break,
Okay.
Craig, and then we'll be back. 1280 WPKZ. We have Craig Larson on the line. And Craig, before we went to the break, we were talking about some of the big teams in the state as far as boys basketball goes. And, St. John's started off pretty slow, but they've sort of been on a little bit of a run lately. A team in our
Bobby's
division.
going to get them going.
Yeah, a team in our division, Shepherd Hill, beat them earlier in the year. And I think they might have started out 0-2 or 0-3 or 1-3 or whatever. And I know they've won
I think
like
they're 4-5. I think they're 4-5 right now, according to the updated telegram.
Yeah.
But Shepherd Hill's 9-0.
yeah, they beat us in the
Wow.
show, but they beat us in overtime down there. So we have them in a couple weeks at Neshoba. Should be a good game. Should be a real good game.
Hey, Craig,
And Oakmont's unbeaten too.
Tony's JV team's 5-0.
Oh,
Right?
God.
Coach,
Really?
5-0, right?
Who cares, Craig? Don't
Everybody
feed into
cares.
him.
Everybody cares. JV rankings will be out next Friday, the 20th.
No, they're out tonight.
Oh, really? Yeah, varsity tomorrow and JV next week.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
good stuff. But anyways, have you been able to get to many games at all yourself?
Not thus far in the winter season. We just wrapped up our fall all-scholastic section, frankly, last night. So now, pushed right through the winter. I'd like to get over to an annual on Sunday night because it's like 4 or 5 games at Emmanuel College. A lot of good.
Now, is that endowment? Is that endowment games, or are they scheduled MIAA sanctioned games?
I'm sure they're.
I believe they're scheduled because.
Wow.
I'll just check, quickly on Arbiter, but I think I'm not sure why would you play that as a
Right, endowment.
endowment. Yeah, I mean some that you'd want to do it that it makes sense, but if you're going to schedule this game, you want it to count,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
And you're looking
Because
for.
it only helps you in the power rating.
Exactly.
Yeah, Lawrence is Merrimack Valley, and I'm sure they're looking for non-league games, and
Right.
why not?
Right.
Like Tony
Right.
said in the beginning of the discussion, people are going out of their comfort zone,
They
out
really
of their
are.
area.
They really.
It's good exposure
truthfully-
for the kids.
Well, I went out with Paul. Believe it or not, I went out with Paul House a couple weeks ago after we
Well, I
scouted.
can believe that.
After we
That's,
scouted.
it's not hard to believe.
And talk about a school that plays up. He plays up.
Oh, yeah.
He's got St. Joe's
He's
on the
D4,
schedule.
right?
Yeah, he's got St. Mary's of Lynn on the schedule.
There's some good D4 teams.
And our last game of the year is Neshoba is with Maynard.
And down, Craig, down to the south, Bourne is a good D4 team, as is Nantucket.
Yep.
They'll make some
Right.
noise in the tournament. I can guarantee you that.
I'll tell you, it should be a good
Definitely,
game tomorrow night, Craig. But I think it's in Maynard. It's Clinton at Maynard. Should be a
Ooh,
really
really?
good
Okay.
game
Is
tomorrow.
Clinton 3, D3?
Yeah, Clinton's
They're
three.
D3, okay. They're
Yeah.
tough. They're having a good year.
Oh, Goose has done a great job.
I
Absolutely
think 6
great.
and 2 I saw.
Yeah. Yep. 6 and
Um,
2.
Now, on the Lawrence High schedule, it does not reflect it being an endowment game for Sunday at 7:30 against Worcester North.
Boy,
So,
I'll tell you, that place will be
with the-
packed.
yeah, I think it will be. It's
Yeah.
a great schedule that day, great take, and I know that
It's a nice facility, Emmanuel.
a great facility. I
Yeah.
talked to, Andy Yosinoff, who's
Yep.
in like year 40 is the women's
Yep, the
basketball
girls'
coach.
coach.
He's won over 800 games. We had him as a guest speaker
Yep.
at a Scholar Athlete banquet, and he goes, keep coming over the court, because I think it's a Gene Yossi court at Emmanuel, and he goes, it's the best court in the city. So he really pumps it
Yeah.
up, and I'm glad they're going to use it for that.
Yeah.
He won a national championship. Did you know that?
I think so, yes, you're
He
right.
won a
Like
national
an
championship,
86 or
Division
so.
3 women.
Emmanuel?
Yep. Yep.
Yep. And
You know who
little
used to
known
go to his
fact-
games? Mike
Who's that?
Gorman, Celtics
Really?
announcer. Mike Gorman was
Oh,
a
yeah.
big fan.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. Little known fact, senior year at the University of Rhode Island, Andy Yosinoff was the #1 ranked tennis player in the Yankee Conference.
That's right. He was a tennis guy.
Was he really?
Tennis guy. Yep.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Yeah, I met him through the Bay State games. I spent some time
Yep.
over there. Good guy.
Oh, when you were coaching Coastal?
Coastal, the Coastal Girls, powerhouse.
Powerhouse.
Speaking of powerhouse, Regan Gannon, who's turning 21 today. Hey, Craig, were you invited to the Gannon house tonight?
No, it's not at the house. It's at the tavern.
It's at the tavern? I thought it was at the girls are staying over the house.
Yeah, Craig, take the
The
dog
party's
for a
at
walk
the
around
tavern?
9:30 and just leash it to the
Oh,
fence.
Craig, I'm sure you got an engraved invitation, Craig.
I haven't been able to get a hold of him.
Oh, really? You got a hold of him for the show, but not for the party.
No,
Oh, I thought you'd have it clear off that new pool deck you have.
no, I feel like shoveling
The
it
heated
off.
pool.
It's not heated, you dope.
Tony's trying to keep it low key, Craig. We know better.
Anyways,
Yeah.
what are we talking about? Oh, Coastal. So when Bobby
Yeah.
coached Coastal, you're going to love this, Mark. I used to have to drive Regan from Clinton to Sandwich for practice.
Best practice she ever had.
Yeah.
Oh,
drop
hey,
her off
lobster-
and leave.
lobster
I'd drop
roll-
her off and leave.
Lobster roll on the way home. What's wrong with that? I mean, that's
And
a
then
win.
drive back. And then one time I took Ian with me for he just shot around
Oh,
somewhere.
yeah.
Yeah, we did that. It was
I'm
pretty good.
curious, what did she list as her residence for that Coastal?
Well, you could transfer
Yeah.
you could transfer, if your section bordered another section, you could opt into that
Okay.
section
Right.
you were
Oh,
next
like
to.
the portal. So Regan was in the
Yeah,
little
she
portal.
was in the Bay
The-
State
the
Games
Bay State-
transfer portal.
Yeah, yeah. I would have pulled her out.
Speaking of the portal, this is a kind of an interesting dynamic, but listen to a college football coach last week who said the portal has changed recruiting for him as far as high schools. He said
Right.
the time that I would spend in high school before recruiting kids,
Yep.
I am now welcoming in possible transfers to the college
Yep.
to recruit them because they're immediate.
Yep.
This
Right.
is going to have a dramatic,
Right.
not the top high-class kids.
Yeah.
Like
They have a resume.
Oklahoma.
Experience. Look at the tight end
Yep.
at Georgia Tech. Georgia. 4
Yep.
years, won a national, 2 national titles, and he's got a year of eligibility because of
Yep.
the COVID. He's going in the portal.
Yeah.
And
So that
probably
was-
get a master's somewhere and maybe some
Exactly.
Yeah.
NIL money.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
So that is going to change
Yeah.
for the kid, not the high-end prospect, the middle of the road that might have a shot, who's on the fence.
Yes.
The coach is not going to go see him now.
Right.
And so that's going to change the dynamic of
And
a lot
they're
of
not going to
high
be
school
so
recruits.
interested in 4-year development of
No,
these high school
'cause kids
players.
are gonna
It's going to be more immediate.
But look at Bridgewater State. We
Right,
had Coach
right,
on.
right.
And it's even affected, he was
Oh,
talking
yeah,
about the
yeah,
portal.
Yeah, Division III basketball,
kids-
huge effect.
Coming down from 2 or coming down from a mid-major.
Or coming from high-level club basketball, Division I club basketball
They
to
grabbed a
Bridgewater
kid from,
State.
grabbed a kid, Craig, from Purdue. Bridgewater State.
He was the National Club Division I Basketball Player of the Year. He's 6'9".
Yeah.
He didn't want to invest the time that a Division I team required, so he got his degree at Purdue, now getting a master's at Bridgewater State, and he's a stud in the MASCAP.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the
Yep.
portal is not just the big schools in Division.
And it hurts the high school kid. The
It
high school
does.
kids are getting
It does
hurt.
because you've got kids at Fitchburg, Worcester, all the Division III. New England is loaded with Division III schools.
Knapsack.
Loaded with Division III colleges. Those kids, coaches are using them as, like you were saying, Craig. Instead of going after a green, raw senior in high school,
Developing him.
they're going
or her.
after a pretty good tight end from Nichols or a pretty good tight end from Bates College or whatever, saying, hey, the kid's gotten bigger. I did see him in high school, had him on our radar. Now I know the kid can play at this level, and they're going in and grabbing him,
Yeah.
And
right.
where do you
Yeah.
see education as far as being mentioned?
It's opening doors for kids. It's giving
Yeah.
kids opportunities. I mean, education is part of it. The
No,
kids and the families have to
It's
make
not
that
the focal
decision.
point. Yeah,
But they have to make that. It's a family decision.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. I mean, I don't see the head of the biology department going out and recruiting anybody. Okay? Yeah, that quite
You
a
wish you had NIL when you transferred from Fitchburg to Worcester State.
The best move I ever made.
You would have had so much
Hey,
cash in your pockets.
I went from wanting to be a shop teacher to a phys ed teacher. That's why I left.
Yeah.
Hey,
You got some money, but it wasn't NIL money. I know that.
I know. Yeah, I know that too. But anyways, Craig, there's been a lot of really good Central Mass basketball games this year, boys and girls, and following the Globe too. There's been a lot of great games out in Eastern Mass. You know the thing with Western Mass goes quiet. It's almost like, they're having their season, and it seems to stop at Quabbin in Berry. And I
want to speak to that because, Craig, I saw on somebody's Twitter feed this morning, top 20 girls teams in the state. They were all east of 128, and somebody threw out there, Wachusett's not a top 20 girls team?
Exactly.
So,
our rankings personally are for teams from Eastern Mass League.
This wasn't from the Globe. This was from somebody else. This, some writer or somebody had a top 20 team. I mean, if it's statewide, make it statewide. Respect the people out west and in the middle, in Central Mass too.
Right. Well, the power ratings that come out tomorrow are going to reveal, and that's really going to open eyes for everybody.
Yeah.
When they open that door tomorrow morning,
the Waconas will get noticed.
Yeah, and you notice those other schools.
The Drurys.
What time will that go live?
I would think around 10 o'clock. That's usually been the norm for them to release. And it's not, for the winter, frankly, it's the two basketballs and two hockey. That's it.
Yeah.
For the fall, you're dealing with both soccer, field hockey,
Football.
There's a lot there.
Huh.
Hey,
And football.
There's no power ranking for indoor track?
Nope.
Clinton High would be. Where would Clinton High be?
Where would they be? Exposed today with him coaching. With your boy Vanessa.
I know they co-op with the Shovels for wrestling, correct?
Yeah.
They don't co-op with
wrestling
anybody.
and ice hockey.
You're right.
Yeah.
Indoor track, they do their own
Oh,
thing.
if you
It's sort of
listen-
like a club team.
Yeah, if you listen to the Clinton
The
indoor
practice
track
schedule
coach,
is
you would think he was
semi-club.
coaching Stanford. Oh my God! But anyways, with all this said, Tanya sent us out a little email the other day saying we're getting close to the middle of the season. It's like,
Yeah,
God.
imagine that.
we're in the second
Really
week
into
in
league
June.
play now. Really
yeah, it's all
deep
league
into
play.
league play.
Yeah, we have two non-league, three actually. We have St. Paul in a couple weeks on a Monday, and then we end because the league schedule ends a week early. We have Shrewsbury home and Maynard home to end the season for us.
Yeah, Tony's looking. He's looking to run the table, Craig. So there could be another. Never mind the party tonight. There could be a really big party when he goes 18-0.
Listen to him, huh? Listen to him.
Wow.
Don't listen to him, Craig. Hey, did you go for your walk today? Is it snowing?
It is, and I walked through the snow. We did the walk. So
Well, I'll tell you, it's really bad here.
Coming down pretty good. It's probably
Yeah.
half an inch or
This
so.
is old
just
school.
on the ground.
Yeah.
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 So I'd rather have snow than freezing rain.
Yeah,
so this
me
is fine.
absolutely. Yeah. Hey, listen though. Thank you for calling in today. We actually, I'll be honest with you, we had Paul Baker. I don't know if you ever heard of Paul Baker. Paul has the single game scoring record in the Clark tournament.
What was that? What was the point
40?
total?
I think it was 47.
Wow.
Coach in Northbridge, correct?
Yes, he was a coach at Northbridge, but prior to that, he was a head coach at Worcester State. And the reason why I thought he'd be a great interview is because not only is he a great basketball player, he's a great basketball coach. When I went and scouted St. B's and St. Paul's last Monday or Tuesday, whatever day it was, I get to the JV game and he was refereeing. So now he's done the whole circle. Now he's roughing, and that's why I thought it'd be a nice interview with him because he's gone full circle.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
trying.
you've
and I'll
done
tell
that too. You ref for a
I
couple of
hated
years. I know you didn't like it, but you did ref. I mean, you did give it a shot.
Oh yeah, I would have given it up after one game when that old lady yelled at me. She screamed at me.
What was she, a year older than you?
She screamed at me that I wasn't being fair. So when this is all she kept yelling at me, and then of all
That's
things,
payback
the
for you
ball-
yelling at officials.
I didn't. I was good
know,
officials.
I know.
But then, of course, Mark, ball goes out of bounds right in front of her. So I have to go
And you missed the call.
retrieve the ball, and now I am standing like the distance you and I are, and the kid from Westboro was taken out. She's screaming at me. And you're not fair. I can't believe it. But so all of a sudden, I don't know what made me do this, but I looked up at the scoreboard, and I noticed that home had 5 fouls and away had 4 fouls. So I just turned to her and said, "How much fairer can I get? 5 fouls to 4." As she turned to look at the scoreboard, I put the ball in play and I left her there.
Never saw her again.
She never
That's
saw
it.
me again.
Yeah.
And she won't. That was
Well,
tough.
basketball's hard.
It's hard.
People are right on top of
Yeah.
you. Everybody thinks they're an expert.
Yeah.
So
Hey, Craig, any word, I mean, down your way on that student athlete who whacked the official during the Christmas break? It's been pretty hush-hush.
Right. I do know that. Well, it came up in my basketball committee meeting yesterday, where
Oh, it did?
the officials rep at the end of the meeting said they want to, as an association, they want to change these assaults on officials to a felony, and so that they've had it, and
Yeah,
they
that
want
was-
to take that next step.
that was
I have
Bobby
not
Baudelaire, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was him. Yeah, and because enough's enough, and this, I haven't heard. Frankly, there's nothing that's been reported by us that there was a threat of criminal charges against the student, and I have not heard an update in the last week or so.
Yeah.
But it's just unconscionable and sickening. And it's the second time those two teams have played, like in a couple of weeks. I know that the first game, Cohasset was up won by 30, and the second game was not pretty. When it was called, it was like a 24-point margin. But and
Still no reason.
I mean,
No.
and I feel bad that Cohasset, that name was put out there. They did nothing wrong.
Yeah,
They just happened to be the opponent.
It was the charter school, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
isn't an assault a felony anyway? Or could it be a felony? Do you need legislation?
I don't know, but that was brought up in discussion yesterday. I wasn't on the call. My reporter was, and that was brought up to the basketball committee.
Craig, did you know of anyone who was there in the gym that witnessed it?
No.
I'm sure there's some film, right?
Haven't seen any.
But I believe, because Bo Ruggiero is still the coach of Cohasset, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
So
if
he-
the game
he
was
was the
being
coach.
taped, wouldn't
Right.
you have access to it? If you wanted to,
all I know,
journalistically?
All I know, no, we don't have access to it. I know that there was a tweet that went out for video for the first 20 seconds of the game. I don't know what went beyond that. I'm sure if there's anything available, it's obviously been reviewed by,
Yeah.
all concerned to, this is the evidence. So,
Yeah. I mean, after it happened, there was some stuff on Twitter and some things you've read in the papers and on the news, and then it just sort of went cold.
Why? Yeah, I mean,
It went cold. But
Thanks.
listen, I know you've got a big appointment coming up at 2. Craig, getting
one other thing I just need to mention, give a shout out to the Johnson brothers from Shrewsbury have been running Toyota equipment for 40 years. And great place to service your lawnmowers at Park Ave in Worcester.
Great.
And closing today and retiring.
Wow.
And that's been a place for me and many others. I bought 2 snappers there, and they just decided after 40 years they've had enough. They're going to retire, and 2 great guys who did a great job for all the customers they
Well,
have.
hopefully they have a great retirement, a very healthy, enjoyable retirement. Now, who's going to fix your
there's an
lawnmower?
opening for Forgionis.
Now, who's going to fix your lawnmower when you run over something?
Tony Gannon.
No, I don't know.
I'm not sure. It's father-son duo down on Route 70 in Boyle.
Oh, yeah, Roddy's.
Too.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're pretty. They've
They're
done
pretty
a
good.
job for me for a few things. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
Anyway,
listen.
So had to close with that.
Yeah,
So,
good. I'm glad you did. Hey, good luck today, root canal, and
Okay,
we'll
okay.
talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks, Craig.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Greg.
Thanks, Bobby. Thanks,
Yeah.
Tony.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. All right, we're gonna go to a break, and we'll be back with Bobby. Hey, Derek on the board today. Our boy Diesel Dan, the hockey guru,
Yeah.
Mark, is out today. He's not feeling well.
I'm sure he'll have a lot to say next week
Oh,
when he
we might
sees
not
those.
even- we
when he
might
sees
just
the
have a hockey show
hockey
next week.
rankings, hockey standings. Yep. Hey, how about lunch today, courtesy of Pizza King?
Oh, tremendous.
Can't beat that. Derek,
Pizza-
thank you for
look
running
at-
over
Derek's
there.
is
Oh no,
done.
who went over? Noah.
Noah went over.
Noah went over there. Okay.
Noah Ubered over there. Derek, yours didn't have a prayer
Hey,
today.
we have a
No,
call.
no,
we have a call coming
It was
in.
like the Last Supper.
No.
Watching you over there. I'm telling you, that thing was gone.
No, it's not gone.
Oh, it was close.
I only had like.
Oh, you only had
Wow.
5 pieces out of the
Wow.
7. All right.
So hey, big
Not bad.
big party. I didn't realize the party was at
Oh,
the Spruce.
don't
So
you-
what is it? Just everybody showing up and celebrating Regan's 21st, right?
Yeah, I guess that's what it is.
That's awesome. That's a special day.
Yeah, it is. She's psyched. She's been waiting for this day
Now-
since she was 1.
Today at the 5th Street Bridge
Diner.
Diner, that gentleman, Dave Goodrich, mentioned Dee Dee Slattery. And both Kevin and I said that Dee Dee served us our first legal drink at Slattery's. I think you kind of will always remember your first legal drink, do you?
No, my first legal drink I was probably 11. I was kidding.
No, legal. Legal.
Oh.
When you were
I-
21, do you recall?
Drinking age was 18.
Oh, really?
We were kids.
Did you turn 18 in high school?
No, I was 17 when I graduated.
Yeah, that's how it was back then.
Yeah, I was 17.
Graduated at 17. Now it's like
Hey, how about Slattery's
19.
is closed?
the
Isn't it?
front, just the front. I think the front bar. I think the back is still open.
Is
the
it?
restaurant.
Oh,
bar,
I mean, I
think
hope
so,
it. Yeah. I didn't know that.
Times have changed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I'll tell you, my favorite spot in Fitchburg. Now, one year I did go to Fitchburg State. I'm going to bring back memories for you. Marty's Pizza.
no memory for me. Where was Marty's Pizza?
What do you mean?
Marty's Pizza.
Mike Gilbert used to bartend there. Juby.
Marty's Pizza. Where was
Marty's
it?
Pizza.
Where was it?
Where's the road? If we go back this way, come to the light, you have Family Dollar General on the right, and you take your left at the lights, go down the hill, and right as it flans out, it was right there on the right.
By the bus company?
No.
I don't remember Marty's
We're
Pizza
not-
at all.
We're not that far away.
Don't remember it at
You
all.
could have walked here to get there.
Really?
Yeah. Great spot. Back in the
Great
day.
spot. How great could it be if I don't have no knowledge? If I have no knowledge
you,
of
you
it.
probably went to the hoi polloi places back in the day. You coming from Evan Keating.
We were at Oren's in Lunenburg,
Man,
up on the
I'll
hill.
tell ya.
Mark,
Hey.
you remember Oren's? Mark gave me a look there. Wow.
No, sure.
But in any event, you have a big game tomorrow night. You're trying to go 6-0. No, I mean, why are you brushing me off? These kids are having a nice year.
We are
You've had
having
a
a
couple
nice
of good comeback wins.
Couple of great kids have been great.
Yeah.
Absolutely fun. So much fun doing the JVs.
Yeah.
It really is. And the kids have been great. And, Gary's doing a great job with the varsity
Yep.
boys.
Varsity's 4-2.
4-2. Had a couple nice wins. A double overtime win over Leominster.
So
And then the other night we beat North Middlesex. We have GD.
GD
your old
tomorrow
school
night.
where you were head boys
GD
coach.
tomorrow night. And then next week, what do you have? Have you
We're
looked that
at
far ahead?
Westboro
Oh, what night is that?
Tuesday.
There's a good chance I'll meet Mike Garofoli there. I said I would come to a game, and Westboro kind of works. I can shoot up 495 to Westboro.
And then Friday night we're Oakmont.
Yeah, that's out for me. So Westboro's doable.
Yeah.
Now, will that be 5 and 6:30, or is it 5:30 and 7?
The Midwatch still does the 5:37.
4, 5:30, and 7.
Yeah, the Swickle does.
So I will see. I'll get there for 6. I'll see the second half of your game.
Yeah. Hey, Obi just texted me 978-348-1280. Wants to call in.
Yeah, have
Probably
him call
about-
in.
Probably about that.
Yeah, tell him to call in.
Yeah, Obi, come on, how could you lose the number? But no, that should be a good. Well, Groton Dunstable, the G-Man does a good job. There's been there a while.
Yeah.
How long
Yeah.
has G-Man been there?
I don't know, 8.
Oh, more than that.
Well, as a head coach,
Oh,
I'd say 8-ish. Mike McCaffrey's the one who made the change. I know
great move.
Yeah,
One of his
I'd say 8.
few great moves.
Sounds like 8 or 9.
I hope, I
8 or
wish
9.
Mike was listening because I asked him where my Tom Glavine rookie cards were.
That's a sore spot, I
It
know.
is.
I wonder if they. Now, I saw something about a card is worth less money if it's autographed.
Oh, I don't
A,
know.
the collectible card, you're
I'll
better
ask
off
my
to
buddy.
just. You're better. Ask your man Paul Z.
No, Paul Garfoli. Foley, he'll know. Paul Z doesn't know.
Paul Z. I thought he was the man with collectibles.
Yeah, he is collectible.
If he can get them for next to nothing, he's the man.
Oh, he's a man. I'll tell you.
Wow, my Mickey Mantle ball was quite a.
Oh,
Quite a
you almost started crying that night.
yeah, when he said that Mickey Mantle autograph was out. But I did get rid of the ball because there's a sucker born every minute. I did get rid of it, Brimfield. Yeah, a guy was like ecstatic. He saw this ball, Mickey Mantle.
Did he ask you if
Grabbed
it
it.
was real?
No, he didn't ask me.
All right,
He
then
asked
you're
me
off
the
the hook.
price. I told him the price. He shelled out the cash, and that's it. That's
and
how
you
it works.
started up the white van and scrubbed out.
Just like yesterday
Huh?
with the metal. Hey,
That's a story we can't
you
talk
have
about
scrap-
on the air.
If you have scrap metal, Derek, you have any scrap metal hanging around?
His car.
Seriously.
No, but I can't wait to hear what you're
No.
going to
Do
do.
you have any
Derek, don't
scrap metal
follow.
hanging around the yard?
No.
Out in the barn or in the
Not
bin?
anymore. No.
Oh, well, I have the place for you if you come up with some scrap metal.
Obi, we're
Kevin
running
from
out of
Heaven's
time.
riding around Fitchburg right now looking for scrap
You know
metal.
what? I'm going to text Obi. Keep yakking.
Yeah, so 978.
348
Yep.
1280.
There's the phone now. Phone's ringing now. That's not it.
Oh,
9.
Your
Is
man
it him?
Obi's sleeping down there in
He's
Florida.
texting me something. 978.
348
Oh, he went
I
back
mean,
to
he-
the letter.
He
1280.
probably has a resolution to your question about
I
the
hope he
confusion
does.
on the one-on-one or the two-shot foul.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Hey, my boy Juby just texted me. Oh, Clinton High Gym. It was like playing in the snake pit. Yeah, the only reason why Juby's complaining because we held him to 4 points that
Let me
night.
ask you something about Juby. Whack pack material?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so you've got 2 in the whack pack.
Juby's a nut.
So you've got
Absolutely.
Beckman,
Juby,
Decker,
Juby.
no, Decker,
Deckman, and Juby.
Decker and Juby,
Juby.
2 in the whack pack.
Retired. Hey, by the way, Seamus
Yeah,
O'Day
yeah.
said to
Who
say
is
hello,
this?
Juby.
2
Juby.
in the whack
We only have
pack.
like 2 minutes. So hold on.
Oh,
Tony
Who do
Gannon,
we
whack
got?
pack.
Tim O'Brien.
Yeah, put him on.
Jim O'Brien, former Boston College coach,
Hey,
calling
Obi.
in.
Hey guys,
Hey, did
I
you
was just
hear?
listening
Obi.
to the show. I was
Did-
just listening to the show. I just wanted to quickly tell you that
Yeah.
in Massachusetts, an assault and battery is a misdemeanor.
It's a
And it has
misdemeanor.
to happen. And it has to happen. In order to make an arrest, it has to happen in a police officer's presence.
Really?
But years ago, assault and battery on a sporting event official used to be a felony, but something happened to it and it got lowered, and so
Okay.
they're trying to get it back to what it was originally. And my
Obi's-
question to you guys is this.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any question that the MIAA is like a mini NCAA. Okay, where are they through all of this?
That's what we talked
They've
about with
taken-
Craig today. Yeah,
Yeah, taken to the hills and gone elsewhere.
yeah. Hey,
They
Obi.
should be forefront.
I
Yep.
know. So, did you listen earlier in the show? I had this incident happen in my JV game the other night, and
Yeah, but you don't even know what it was.
what?
Anyway, tell him.
So no, he was listening to the show. I
Oh.
don't know if he had heard it.
Okay.
So, kid in overtime for Neshoba, one of my players got fouled, and it was
Yep.
the 8th foul. It was 1-1. So the referee comes over, foul on North Middlesex, make it up number 3, 1-1. So we all
Yep.
line up.
Yep.
That's all I paid attention to, as
Yep.
and my kid shoots it, Dom shoots it and misses, and my kids go in, grab the rebound and put it in. But the North Middlesex kids froze. And the other official comes in who called the foul, guy who calls the foul goes to the scores table and goes in and says to the other official, it's 1-1. He goes, oh, I thought it was 2. So we laid it in, and the officials waved the basket off, and they conversed.
But he told the kids it was two. The
Yeah.
guy underneath
Yes.
said to the kids, two
Yes.
shots.
So the other officials, they were great guys too, absolutely great guys. He comes over and goes, Tony, he goes, I'm sorry, I had told the kids it was 2 shots. What's the, like, what happens? They went to the arrow. And I mean, I didn't complain because it was our ball. But,
Well, according to the book, they're not supposed to do what they did, but they did the right thing, in my opinion.
yeah,
Because they told the kids it's 2, but according to the book, okay, they used to throw this in our heads all the time. Officials make errors, and people make mistakes
yep,
in basketball. So, that being said, you don't want to go through one of those deals where you have a stoppage in play, and they're talking about it, and then they say, okay, well, we're going to let him shoot again.
yeah.
They did the right thing, waving the basket off and giving the ball to you. They should have given the ball to you.
They
actually,
did.
because
Oh,
it was a one-on-one.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So not the arrow, the shooting team gets the ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Basically, you know what I
Good.
mean. It should have been because, like you say, officials make mistakes.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
I will say this too, Obi. This year, the officiating at the varsity has been phenomenal. Absolutely,
good.
It's
That's a
been
good
good. And we got to go. I'll let you go.
Okay.
Paul Baker is going to be calling next week. He's officiating now.
oh, beautiful. Okay.
Yeah,
All
nice
right.
to have an old veteran coach. He's
Yeah.
still in great
Yep.
shape.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, good for him.
Yeah, good
I've
for
been
him.
listening, so.
Obi, thanks
All
for
right.
calling.
Hey, we thought you were
Appreciate
calling
it.
because you were golfing and it's snowing here. Hey.
No, actually, I went to the gym this morning. I got out about noontime. I put the show on. I was listening to it on and off, doing a couple errands, and then I said that I got to let them know that that's a misdemeanor, but it's just.
See that? Retired police officer.
Yeah.
He keeps up with the law. Good job, Holmes. Hey,
Good talking
thanks.
to you guys.
Thanks,
All
Obi.
right, we'll
Yeah,
talk
be
to you
well.
soon.
Be well. See you.
All right. Hey,
Be
everybody,
well.
be careful driving
Yeah, be
today. I'd like to
careful.
thank all the listeners today. Thank Derek on the board, Bobby C., Mark for setting up, John for letting this happen.
Yeah, it's all good.
All
Thank
good
you.
stuff.
Be
yeah,
safe.
Be safe today.
Thanks.
See you next week.